Glory to God the Father and Son Yeshua Mashiach. 1 Kings chapter 18. Elijah challenges Ahab. A long time passed. Then, in the 3rd year, the word of Adonai came to Eliyahu, "Go, present yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain down on the land." When Eliyahu went to present himself to Ahab, the famine in Shomron had become severe. Ahab called Obadiah, who was in charge of the palace. Now, Obadiah greatly revered Adonai. For example, when Isabel was murdering Adonai's prophets, Obadiah took 100 prophets, hid them in 2 caves, 50 in each, and supplied them with food and water. Ahab said to Obadiah, "Go throughout the land, and check all the springs and vadis. Maybe we can find grass somewhere, so that we can keep the horses and mules alive and not lose all the animals." So they divided between them the territory to be visited. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. Obadiah was on the road when suddenly Eliyahu encountered him. Obadiah recognized him, fell on his face and said, "Is it really you, my lord Eliyahu?" He answered, "Yes, it is I. Go, tell your master, Eliyahu is here." Obadiah replied, "How have I sinned, that you would hand your servant over to Ahab to kill me? As Adonai your God lives, there can't be a single nation or kingdom where my master hasn't sent to search you out, and in each kingdom or nation where they said, 'He isn't here,' he made them take an oath that they hadn't found you. Now you say, 'Go tell your master, Eliyahu is here.' But as soon as I leave you, the spirit of Adonai will carry you off to I don't know where, so that when I come and tell Ahab, and he can't find you, he will kill me. But I your servant have revered Adonai from my youth. Wasn't my Lord told what I did when Isabel killed Adonai's prophets, how I hid 100 of Adonai's prophets by 50s in caves and supplied their food and water? Now you say, 'Go tell your master, look, Eliyahu is here.' Why, he'll kill me." Eliyahu said, "As Adonai Svo lives, before whom I stand, I will present myself to him today." So Obadiah went, found Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Eliyahu. When Ahab saw Eliyahu, Ahab said to him, "Is it really you, you troubler of Israel?" He answered, "I haven't troubled Israel, you have, you and your father's house, by abandoning Adonai's mitzvot and following the Baalim. Now order all Israel to assemble before me on Mount Carmel, along with the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of the Asherah who eat at Isabel's table." Victory on Mount Carmel. Ahab sent word to all the people of Israel and assembled the prophets together on Mount Carmel. Eliyahu stepped forward before all the people and said, "How long are you going to jump back and forth between 2 positions? If Adonai is God, follow him. But if it's Baal, follow him." The people answered him not a word. Then Eliyahu said to the people, I alone, am the only prophet of Adonai who is left, while Baal's prophets number 450. Let them give us 2 young bulls, and they can choose the bull they want for themselves. Then let them cut it in pieces and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. I will prepare the other bull, lay it on the wood and put no fire under it. Then, you, call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of Adonai, and the God who answers with fire, let him be God." All the people answered, "Good idea." Agreed. Then Eliyahu said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose one bull for yourselves, and prepare it first, because there are many of you. Then call on the name of your God, but put no fire under it." They took the bull that was given to them, prepared it and called on the name of Baal from morning till noon. "Baal, answer us." But no voice was heard, and no one answered, as they jumped around on the altar they had made. Around noon Eliyahu began ridiculing him. "Shout louder. After all, he's a god, isn't he? Maybe he's daydreaming, or he's on the potty, or he's away on a trip. Maybe he's asleep, and you have to wake him up." So they shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and knives, as their custom was, until blood gushed out all over them. By now it was afternoon, and they went on ranting and raving until it was time for the evening offering. But no voice came, no one answered, no one paid any attention. Then Eliyahu said to all the people, "Come here to me." All the people came up to him, as he set about repairing the altar of Adonai that had been broken down. Eliyahu took 12 stones, in keeping with the number of tribes of the sons of Yaakov, to whom the word of Adonai had come, saying, "Your name is to be Israel." With the stones he built an altar in the name of Adonai. Then he dug a trench around the altar large enough for half a bushel of grain. He arranged the wood, cut up the bull and laid it on the wood. Then he said, "Fill 4 pots with water, and pour it on the burnt offering and on the wood." They did it. "Do it again," he said, and they did it again. "Do it a third time," he said, and they did it a third time. By now the water was flowing around the altar, and it had filled the trench. Then, when it came time for offering the evening offering, Eliyahu the prophet approached and said, "Adonai, God of Abraham, Yitzchak and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, Adonai, hear me, so that this people may know that you, Adonai, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back to you." Then the fire of Adonai fell. It consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones and the dust, and it licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, "Adonai is God. Adonai is God." Eliyahu said to them, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let one of them escape." They seized them, and Eliyahu brought him down to Vadi Kishon and killed him there. The miracle of rain. Then Eliyahu said to Ahab, "Get up, eat, and drink, because I hear the sound of heavy rain." Ahab went up to eat and drink, while Eliyahu went up to the top of the Carmel. He bowed down to the ground and put his face between his knees. Now, he said to his servant, "Go up, and look out toward the sea." He went up, looked, and said, "There's nothing there." 7 times he said, "Go again." The 7th time, the servant said, "Now there's a cloud coming up out of the sea, no bigger than a man's hand." Eliyahu said, "Go up, and say to Ahab, prepare your chariot, and get down the mountain before the rain stops you." A little later, the sky grew black with clouds and wind, and heavy rain began falling, as Ahab, riding in his chariot, made for Yisrael. The hand of Adonai was on Eliyahu. He tucked up his clothing and ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Yisrael.